Tony decided to bring me to Orange Beach, Alabama, for a short beach getaway. We are in Perdido Key. It's right across the bridge from Orange Beach. I think it still falls under the Orange Beach section of Alabama. And if you go a little bit further, you cross into Florida. So that's why they call it Flora-bama, because it's the border of Alabama and Florida.
So we went on to online to look for an apartment to stay in. We're actually looking for a hotel. We ended up getting a 2-bedroom apartment on the river, right? We call this river, at Wind Drift Apartments. And we're in apartment 312.
So we're going to do a little review of the apartment, mainly because if you're anything like me, when you're getting ready to go, you want to know what you should pack, what to expect. And for me, those little details are important. So I figured let's share that with everybody else and let them know what to expect.
Yep.
And then you can pack accordingly.
So let me be upfront and honest in that say that the Airbnb type rentals don't really appeal to me, especially when it's just the two of us. I think, I prefer to stay in a hotel. I think Airbnb has its place for larger groups. If we wanted to come away with a family or with a bunch of friends, to get a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom house or apartment, that's great. But I think just for the two of us, I like the luxuries of a hotel.
So to that point, we started off looking for hotels in this area.
On hotel.com.
Hotel.com, anywhere really, any website that had hotels. There are 3 hotels in this little stretch, and they cost an arm and a leg. We've just traveled, we've got other things coming up, and we just weren't in the market to spend $400 per room per night for a hotel plus food. So we agreed that we would do it a little more cost effectively, a little more budget friendly, and so this is how we ended up with this apartment. It had just recently been renovated, so I think that they had put the price down just a little in order to attract some bookings. And
so just to clarify, this apartment had been renovated?
Yes.
Or the
apartment.
Oh.
So the shock is because I think it has been painted and had some things done to it. It is not updated. The bathrooms are older. There seems to be a newer vanity in the one bathroom. The bathrooms are older. The floor, the baseboards have had a little bit of wear and tear to them, and haven't been replaced. But none of that affects the stay of, a little vacation here. I think that for the price, it is good value.
Yeah.
If we were bringing somebody with, it would have been even better value. But for the price that we paid $150 per night before all the resort fees and taxes and so on. So I think for $150 a night, we have a very reasonable accommodation.
Yeah. So, we might pick out a few things that we feel could be improved on. But again, going back to what we paid per night and the location, I think overall we're happy with the stay here.
Yeah. So what do you think is good about the apartment?
Good, again, location.
Mm-hmm.
Location. Okay. Yeah.
It's been really nice to sit on the river.
Yeah.
I have waited patiently for dolphins to swim by, and
you saw them?
I did. And it just always makes me appreciate life. Yeah, location is great. I love the fact that we are on the 3rd floor where you can look out over the balcony. We can see the boats go by, see the dolphins go by, and it's just been pleasant for me really to slow down and unwind.
Yeah.
It's not ocean view, but we're right across the road from the ocean.
Right.
So
you'll see from the aerial shots of the apartment that we're in, and then right across the road is also Wind Drift Apartments, but they're beach facing. So just be aware that, you know, when you do come to book, there are 2 different Wind Drift sets of apartments.
Yeah.
This is the north, I believe.
Yes.
And the other side is the...
Must be south.
I think it's like east or something.
Okay.
But just be aware of that.
The whole area is populated with apartments, and they have definitely gone up in price over the last 5 years.
You came here with our granddaughter and
my daughter.
Yeah. Our daughter.
We came here about 3 years ago, and accommodation was, I think they've put up new apartment complexes in the meantime, and the prices of the actual purchase price of the apartments have gone crazy. But the place is busy.
Yeah.
It is March. It
Off
is the
season.
Middle of March. It's rainy. It's not spring break, and it is busy.
And also, I think you need to be aware that the area did get hit by Hurricane Sally last year. So there's still a lot of damage in the area. Jetties being repaired, and
2020 was a bad year for definitely for this little strip of the coast. So good is location.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. There's a pool, obviously, which
we don't get to use because it's cold. And there's an elevator that brings you up to the 3rd floor, which is helpful when you're carting stuff, cameras, and what have you.
Lots of restaurants in the area.
Yes.
Access to the beach across the road. There's a Publix just down the road. So
it's definitely a nice place to have a vacation. I do agree with you. This kind of thing lends itself to family. Everybody in the complex seems to be here in a group because they're all downstairs playing games and having fun together as a family.
Yep.
So it probably does lend itself more to family kind of accommodation. What has been nice is that we've had a kitchen. The kitchen is granite countertops. It's got all appliances, microwave, fridge, oven, which we haven't used. It's got a toaster, and it's got a dishwasher, which also we're not going to use. But
just the 2 of us.
Yeah, the rule is that you have to have everything washed and returned to the cabinets before leaving. So we will be washing dishes tonight.
Okay, so let's move on to the bad. And again, as I said, I'm not really for Airbnb accommodation when it's just the 2 of us. Obviously, this is somebody's home, so we're not 100% sure if it's a committed investment property for holiday makers, or if it's somebody's home that he lets out certain times of the year. So you don't want to be too critical and not respect the guy's home. But I think the first thing that when I opened the door to the apartment, it was very grubby and grimy. And that being the first impression of the apartment, I think set the tone to look out for other things that maybe weren't up to scratch. And to me, the door is just a simple, a Mr. Min wipe sponge and just clean it up a bit. Worst case scenario, just paint it. That's the first impression that you get when you come into the apartment.
You have to remember, though, that they're on the beach, they're on the sea, everything gets rusty, and the moisture gets into everything. So it would be a permanent maintenance issue.
I accept that, but the guy's obviously paying someone to clean up after us when we leave, and
just
that's
have them
just a
put
simple,
some Clorox wipes down the front of the door, and the door will be clean.
There are a couple of towel rails that were loose, bits of ceiling missing, the floors are sticky, and again, that just might be the environment. The thermostat, I haven't seen one that old for a long time. It's still got the lever adjustments. But again, for the price that we've paid, I think, all those little incidentals are, acceptable. I think, there's other apartments that we could have rented 200, 250 and up that I'm sure are in a better condition.
I only have one thing that's an issue for me, and that is that the first night, now I've already mentioned, if you watch our videos at all, I'm a fan of white sheets. Why? Is because you take one look at them and you'll know if they're clean or if they're dirty. No criticism, the sheets on the bed were clean. They were a turquoisey color, all matched the decor. They were clean, but they had those little bubbles in them from
friction, I guess.
Yes, when you've washed sheets a number of times and they're not high quality sheets, they get those little bubbles. I have them at home. As soon as we feel those little bubbles, we throw the sheets out.
Yeah.
And that is when we have bought cheap sheets or were given sheets, whatever. So, first night, I spent the night tossing and turning, aware of the fact that all I could feel on my skin were these little bubbles on the sheets.
So guess what we did the following day?
We went straight to Walmart and bought king-size sheets. Thankfully, we have a king-size bed at home. Tony was very gracious and indulged me, and we bought king-size sheets at Walmart, changed the bed, and white ones, and it's been wonderful. So
you had a better night's sleep.
I've had a much better night's sleep, and I intend to have another good night's sleep tonight. But that's the only thing that really bothers me is sheets. I was in the guest house industry, and we spent a lot of money on mattresses, on sheets, on bedding, because the baseboards, the sticky floors, none of those, how old the thermostat is, none of that affects the stay.
Right.
You're in, you're out, you go to the beach, you go and do things. Who cares what the baseboards look like or if the door's dirty? But when you get into bed at night, you want to sleep. And I spend a good 8 hours catching up on sleep, and that's just a deal breaker for me. So the apartment they do give you a starter pack of all the things needed to stay here. And my only debate is that we were only here for 3 days. They give you a starter toilet roll for $150 a night. Could they not spring for 2 toilet rolls? It'll cost them an extra 25 cents. Just make sure there's enough toilet paper in the apartment.
Especially for short-term stays, because from the booking,
it's different if you're coming for a week. Then we'll bring a pack of toilet paper, we'll bring our dishwashing liquid, we'll bring all our laundry detergents, because we're going to be washing, we're going to be doing dishes. So then you don't mind bringing some stuff with. But I feel like a 3-night stay, we don't ask for much. Yeah. We are low maintenance. We haven't had a thing to say to the owner about anything, really. Could you just provide some toilet paper? So now we did have to pay $30 for parking in a parking lot that seems to be not that busy. It's not gated.
No.
There's no security out there. So I'm not sure what the $30 parking ticket was for, but we had to pay $30 over and above the room apartment fee for the condo association to issue us with a parking voucher. Honestly, if they'd have asked me if I wanted to pay another $30 to have new sheets, toilet paper and dishwashing tabs, I would have said yes please, just throw it on and I don't have to bring all that stuff with. But I mean, other than that, we have there's no major issues. There's no reason why we wouldn't recommend somebody come and book this place for a vacation.
Yeah.
Just beware. Bring toilet paper. Check. Wouldn't do you any harm to bring a spare set of sheets. And you will need, if you're going to stay long enough, you will need laundry, detergent, and dishwashing tabs.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But there's paper towel. Hey, we take the paper towel to the toilet.
So for you, are there any ugly? No.
For the price.
Right.
Now, we have stayed here before in the area and had a superb apartment, and I don't think you can compare the two.
Yeah.
It was double the price. So for the price, no complaints.
Yeah.
I think it's good value and pretty much what the area has to offer. My only complaint is the constant rain. Can you fix that?
No.
No.
I think, overall the stay was great. My only comment, again, being new to the sort of Airbnb styled rentals, is we did the booking on hotel.com. The credit card charge went through as VRBO.
Vacation rental by owner.
Then we got a phone call from the owner, sort of interviewed, and which I understand. I mean, spring break and whatever, you want to make sure that there's not a bunch of kids coming down to wreck your place. And then we got a phone call from the property manager. So
two phone calls.
Yeah. So if you're someone like me that enjoys his privacy, I'm going to be doing a YouTube channel if that was good. But anyway, to have like 4 touches in a single booking, to be touched 4 times, I think it's a bit of a overkill. But again, being a private home, I understand why. So just be aware that there could be multiple contact points along the process of getting the place booked.
And we weren't aware that we needed a parking voucher when we booked.
Yeah, that wasn't on the
room
website. No.
On the booked the apartment. So when the owner called, chatted, very nice person, and said, well, we do need to issue you with a parking ticket voucher to display in the car. What credit card can we use? So there was no option again for that. So,
and again, that's giving out credit card information over the phone, which I'm not a great fan of. But
I mean, there would be no harm in rolling that in. We got the room rate, and then we got a voucher, a resort fee added in. So could they not just up the resort fee by $30 and say it includes parking? One less conversation to have, one less thing to do.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So overall,
I have been very thankful to be relaxed, to sit on the balcony, look for the dolphin, and just
what would you
enjoy time with you.
Rate the apartment?
I would rate the apartment, considering the price, I would rate it I would rate it higher, but the bed issue was a big deal for me, so it's probably about a 7.
So,
What would you say?
I'll go with a 7. And again, if you go to our website, www.themeltonaffair.com, you can see a more detailed review of the place.
It would be nice if you could get a list of what was in the apartment before you came. For example, they have a drip coffee maker and a Keurig coffee maker. And if I hadn't spoken to the manager, the resort manager, and asked her that, and she said, I think there's a Keurig in the apartment, that I would not have popped Keurigs into my little carry-in bag. And believe me, when we wake up in the morning, we need coffee. So I think it would be helpful if the owner made just a brief list of what to expect. Keurig machine, 1 towel per person, 1 toilet roll, 2 slice toaster, and so on, just so that you have an idea of the inventory.
Yep. So again, if you like this video, be sure to give it a like, comment in the comments if you have any questions, and please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button to be notified of new videos. Next, we're heading off to New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Bye.